Power of women, power of perception in law, women, image, real influence. Broooo. Yesterday wasn't just Hollywood glam, it was women power on turbo mode, but also controversy, hypocrisy debates, and a dress that broke the internet harder than ChatGPT on launch day. We break it down for you on today's Zebra Truth podcast. Okay, listen, icons like Jamie Lee Curtis, Wanda Sykes, Kate Hudson raising voices for healthcare, food security, abuse survivors, special needs athletes, real causes, real impact, all good, but also viral chaos because Sydney Sweeney decided sheer silver goddess meets WrestleMania wet t-shirt vibes, and social media exploded. We love Sydney, but when you say you don't want to be objectified and then show up in liquid silver, see-through couture. I'm sure our guest today will have a lot to share. So Jane, initial thoughts? Any favorite moments? Or was it just one long parade of heartfelt speeches and questionable hors d'oeuvre?
Honestly, Thomas, it was like the Met Gala's woke cousin. You had Jamie Lee Curtis basically calling out the government for putting kids at risk, and Wanda Sykes giving us a masterclass in how to drop truth bombs between punchlines. And then there's Sydney Sweeney, who managed to both steal the red carpet and spark a social media meltdown. My favorite moment? Probably Nicole Scherzinger out sparkling the centerpieces, but I'm shallow like that.
I mean, who can blame you? Nicole was so radiant, I'm convinced half the audience left with retinal damage. But under the glamour, there was a real sense of urgency. These women were putting major issues front and center. You could almost forget the avocado toast was $40 a plate. Let's dig into the real-world stuff they tackled.
You know, for every dazzling gown, there was a jaw-dropping stat. Jamie Lee Curtis didn't just thank her agent. She straight up talked about Children's Hospital LA losing funding and families being scared off by ICE raids. That's not just a PR line. That's calling out systemic mess-ups at an event where most people are still figuring out which fork to use.
Yeah, Curtis did not come to play. And Wanda Sykes, she's up there talking about single moms losing SNAP benefits like, hey, let's remember food insecurity is trending for all the wrong reasons. I loved how the event balanced glitz with real stories. It wasn't just, yay women, it was, yay women, now let's fix what's broken. But Jane, do you think celebrity advocacy can actually move the needle on this stuff? Or does it just make for good Instagram content?
That's the million-dollar question, or maybe the million-follower question. When someone like Sykes calls out failing safety nets on stage, it raises awareness, sure. But unless there are policy changes, it's a bit like putting a Band-Aid on a leaky dam. Though to be fair, at least these women are saying the quiet part out loud. You don't see many red carpets where people talk about SNAP expiration dates.
That brings us to our viral queen, Sydney Sweeney. She walks in, rocks a sheer silver gown, flaunts a fresh blonde bob, and suddenly the internet is in a frenzy, half cheering, half clutching their pearls. Jane, let's break it down. Is this a power move or just another Hollywood distraction from the actual issues?
Well, it's complicated. On one hand, Sydney's taking control of her image, addressing everything from body shaming to surgery rumors, basically saying, I'm not just here to look pretty and sell jeans, all right? But on the other hand, the sheer dress moment overshadows her actual work. People are debating the dress more than the cause she's supporting, which is, ironically, fighting domestic and sexual violence. It's like everyone got so distracted by the sequins, they missed the fireworks.
The whole thing is wild. She's playing with stereotypes, using the attention, but also kind of trapped by it. It's the classic damned if you do, damned if you don't for women in the spotlight. Plus, the memes about her hair alone could fill a Netflix special. But there's a deeper conversation here about authenticity and control. Where's the line between owning your narrative and becoming the headline for all the wrong reasons?
You know what, Thomas? Advocacy at these galas is like a high-protein smoothie, good intentions, but sometimes missing the substance. Jamie Lee Curtis can beg for funding. Wanda Sykes can joke about politics. But real change? That takes policy, not just pearls and paparazzi. It's both inspiring and a little maddening. Like, should we really need celebrities to get basic healthcare funded?
Totally. We love a moving acceptance speech, but no amount of celebrity tears is going to rewrite federal budgets. Still, it's hard to ignore the impact when big names draw public focus. Look at Aly Raisman. Her Courage Award speech about abuse survivors was trending for hours, and that's got real-world ripple effect. But imagine if those viral moments actually pressured lawmakers, not just racked up likes.
Exactly. It's progress, but painfully slow. Sometimes it feels like we're stuck in a loop. Heartfelt speech, viral dress, a couple of think pieces, and then back to business as usual. I'd pay good money to see someone take a selfie with a senator and demand policy change right there. But hey, maybe that's the next TikTok trend advocacy with a number, no filter.
So where does that leave us? On one hand, women in Hollywood are rewriting what it means to have power using their platforms for more than just product placements. On the other, we're still wrestling with the same old pressures. Look perfect, act perfect, fix society before lunch. Is there a way to do all this without burning out or losing the plot?
If there is, it probably involves a little less doom scrolling and a lot more strategic plotting. Take a cue from Sydney, hype is a wave, but you've got to surf it straight to something real, like meaningful roles or actual change. And for all the memes about outfits and hair, these events do remind us that communities thrive when women support each other, glam or no glam.
Couldn't agree more. Maybe the secret sauce is mixing courage with comedy, activism with authenticity, and never letting the haters or the hashtags run the show. Before we wrap, what's the one takeaway you'd want the audience to chew on, Jane?
Simple. Don't just repost the viral dress. Ask yourself what the story is really about. Power isn't just who's trending, it's who's changing the rules, even if it's one awkward speech at a time.
All right, listeners, as we come down from the glitz and the speeches, here's a thought to take with you. Are we celebrating these women for their actual impact, or just for the way they light up a red carpet? And more importantly, what would it look like if real power meant changing the rules for everyone, not just the famous few? Drop your takes in the comments, tag us, argue with your friends, let's keep the conversation spinning.
And if you ever find yourself at a Power of Women gala, just remember, you can make an impact in sneakers or sequins. Here's to more drama, more dialogue, and never settling for the easy narrative. Okay? On that positive note, that is a wrap for today then. Well, thanks to everyone for listening to the Daily World Pod by Zebra Truth. If you learned something today or got a little fired up, share the episode, subscribe, and stay tuned. We'll be back with more from the bleeding edge of AI and sports. Meanwhile, you can also visit our website, www.zebratruth.com, and download our app to stay informed and stay connected.